sort of straightened up my refrigerator and found some veggies stuck up in a drawer. It had some carrots in there, which I've already shredded, some summer squash, some zucchini, green onions. I had a few sweet potatoes, which are boiling right now. And then I have all of my seasoning ingredients, water sauteing. Seasoning ingredients are my shredded carrots, onions, bell pepper. I had to use the chopped up garlic again because I still can't find it organic. And then I have the Better Than Bouillon, which has the garlic in it, and they are doing their little thing. These are the seasonings that I'm going to use for this curry kind of thing that I'm going to make. Right here. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid aminos in there. This is, of course, the curry powder. I think I will add a little bit more turmeric to it as well. We have a little bit of cumin that I'll use. I've already put in the Better Than Bouillon right there. And then we have this Ethiopian spice of berberry that I'm going to put a little in there as well. And then, of course, smoked paprika. Let's get started with this thing. Now you notice that my sweet potatoes are boiling in a very thin layer of water. I put those on first. That actually is going to form the base of my dish. When they have finished boiling, I have a special step that I'm going to do with those before I add them into my dish. The zucchini and the summer squash actually will be pretty much the last thing that I put in. So it's important to get that the sweet potatoes nice and tender kind of early on, even before you start chopping, because they're kind of important and need to marinate in with the spices while they're cooking, especially with the curry. I put a thin layer of water because I want to use that water as well. Alright, in my Vitamix I put the potatoes. They are not mushy. They're still quite firm actually. And then I put in my seasoning. I put in 2 teaspoons of the berberry, about a quarter of a teaspoon of cumin, a little bit less than a teaspoon of curry, about half a teaspoon of my smoked paprika, a couple of squirts of the liquid aminos, and the water from the potatoes as well. And I'm going to blend this in a special kind of way. And I forgot to mention, I did put in a couple of shakes of extra turmeric. And then once it starts cooking, I can see if I need to add any more ingredients. So I make sure that everything's turned down on my Vitamix, and then I'm going to put it on low. Where's my plunger? There you are. Turn that up just a little bit, just a tiny little bit. And then it's done. Let's see what it looks like. I don't want a liquid. I want more of a mash. And I wanted to also sort of blend in all of the seasonings. And this is going to be the base of the sauce for my vegetable dish. Alright, and then I put that mash in with my seasoning vegetables, and now I'm going to let this cook, simmer for a while. I'm still not going to put my zucchini and my squash in because it does not take very long for those to cook. So now it's going to sit and simmer. I may add a little bit of liquid. Let's see, let me stir it up and see what we have. Oh my goodness, those flavors are outstanding. This consistency is about where I want it to be. Nice and thick, Because see, when I add in the squash, the zucchini and the summer squash, it's going to form its own liquid as well. So we do want it to be this thick. This is going to simmer on a very low fire for about maybe 15 minutes. All right, I have added in my green onions, my summer squash, and my zucchini. You notice they are chopped up really big. That's the way that I want them. If you want to slice them, if you want to cut them up the way that you want, this is strictly up to you. You can put any kind of vegetable in here. I wish I had some mushrooms. Mushrooms would be awesome in this thing. And if you like the taste of Ethiopian stew, you would love this dish because of the spices, especially that burberry that I put in here. So I'm going to mix this stuff around and just let it simmer until I get the consistency that I like of my vegetables, which are a little crunchy. But if you like your vegetables cooked a little bit more, then you will cook yours a little bit more. I'll be back in a minute. This is the way it looks. Once you stir it around, I actually did have to add a half a cup of water because I had so many vegetables that I threw in there. It will produce a little bit of condensation, but if once I've finished, I'm going to take the top off and let it cook a little bit more. But right now I'm going to cover it and let it cook for about maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and it will be done. I have no idea what I'm going to call this yet, but the smell is amazing. The taste of that sauce is just very, very flavorful. So let's let this thing do what it has to do, and I'll be back in a little bit. All right, it is finished. This is the way it's going to look for me. If you were making this dish, you might want the veggies cooked a little bit more. As many of you know, I use my Hot Logic Mini to heat up my dishes because I put a lot of food in my freezer, and so I take a frozen meal to school, you know, that's where I work, pop it in my Hot Logic Mini, the one I have at work, and then 3 to 4 hours later my food is nice and warm. And so while it's warming in there, these will cook a little bit more, and I kind of like to taste a crunch with my vegetables. But you might like to cook it a little bit more, especially if you're not going to put some away. But this is it, and when I figure out what I'm going to call it, I will title it on my video. Y'all have a wonderful day.